Morning friends, happy Thursday. Do you remember when Meghan was given the cover of Vogue? She was made honorary editor-in-chief and the cover of Vogue could be anything Meghan wanted it to be. And Meghan made it about female forces for change and made it completely about other people. A brilliant move that shows where Meghan's heart is and what she's driven by. Shine a light on other people, turn up, do good. Well, this week in the UK, from the non-working taxpayer-funded royal family, the British public again have paid for, via tax, two gigantic, unwanted, unrequested portraits of themselves. I mean, I'm all for recording history, but we're in a digital age, so it's a lot easier to do now and a lot more expensive, if you know what I'm saying. But commissioning portraits, yet more portraits of themselves to hang in a dusty gallery somewhere to feed their own egos and to show just how important we all are. The institution is vital to the UK. We hold the social fabric together. I'm reading The Road to Wigan Pier, which was written decades ago. I think it was written in the late 50s, actually. And that talks about how the royal family is irrelevant then, in the 50s. We don't need them anymore. It's time for change. We need a constitutional head of state that represents other people, not themselves. Comments are open as ever. Have a brilliant Thursday. And of course, let me know what you think.
Wow, that's pure truth. Let's talk about the contrast, no, the canyon, between how Meghan Markle and the senior British royals, particularly King Charles and Queen Camilla, choose to present themselves to the world. If you love Harry and Meghan, you're in the right place. Subscribe now. Because for Meghan, it's never been about herself. It's been about others, long before she ever met Prince Harry. Long before royal titles and palaces, Meghan has always shown up for people, not cameras. Let's go back. Before the tabloids, before the drama, before the world insisted on tearing her apart, what was she doing? She was advocating. She was rolling up her sleeves, from volunteering at soup kitchens in Los Angeles as a teenager to becoming a UN women's advocate. She stood for gender equality before the world even knew her name. She traveled to Rwanda to support access to clean water. She gave speeches about period poverty. She was supporting causes around education and empowerment, not for the spotlight, but because she cared. When she married into the royal family, she didn't stop. She co-founded Archewell, a foundation focused on community support, compassionate media, and mental health awareness. While the British press smeared her, she stayed committed. She helped fund community fridges, donated to women's shelters, and partnered with organizations making real change. And let's talk about her latest project, Confession of a Female Founder. This isn't some vanity podcast. Meghan isn't putting herself at the center. She's giving a platform to women entrepreneurs, especially those overlooked, ignored, or pushed aside. She's listening, she's learning, she's empowering. That's the core of it. Lifting others up, especially women who never get the mic. Now compare that with King Charles and Queen Camilla. What have we seen from them lately? Let's start with the coronation. It wasn't just an event, it was a spectacle. Lavish, extravagant, drenched in gold and opulence. While everyday people in the UK were struggling with energy bills, inflation, and food insecurity. The cost? Somewhere between 50 million to 250 million pounds. Who paid for it? Not them. You did, the British public. And now, 1 year later, on the anniversary of that coronation, they dropped a new royal portrait. No public demand, no democratic request, just another gilded painting of themselves in full royal costume, smiling, sitting on a throne, not a painting to honor the people, but to glorify themselves, its ego in oil paint. And once again, it's funded by taxpayers. That's the thing. These portraits, they aren't art, they're propaganda. They're carefully crafted images meant to preserve a myth, that Charles and Camilla are somehow necessary, somehow noble, but behind the brushstrokes, there's something empty. Let's not forget, Charles's charity, the Prince's Foundation, was recently caught up in a scandal over accepting cash donations, literal bags of money, from foreign dignitaries. Reports showed that one donor gave €3 million in cash, handed over in shopping bags and suitcases. No transparency, no accountability, just business as usual behind palace gates. And where was the king's apology? The accountability? Nowhere. It was swept aside, just like every other ethical question the monarchy faces. Because they don't serve, they expect to be served. Camilla? Let's be honest, she wasn't accepted by the public overnight. But the palace worked tirelessly to rebrand her, to repaint her, literally and figuratively, as the dutiful consort. But her track record speaks for itself. She's given interviews dismissing public criticism. She's laughed off concerns about royal elitism. And her presence in these royal portraits isn't about humility. It's about rewriting history, placing herself as queen in a story many believe she helped fracture. This isn't just about taste, it's about values. Meghan stepped back from the royal family because she didn't want to be part of that machine. She chose peace. She chose honesty. She chose her family's safety over a throne. And even then, she hasn't stopped giving. Quiet donations, unpublicized meetings with victims of tragedy, support for mothers, women, children, mental health workers. She does it all without press conferences or portraits. Meghan doesn't need to be painted on a canvas to be remembered. Her legacy is in the lives she's touched, in the stories she's shared, in the people she's empowered. Meanwhile, Charles and Camilla continue to pose, to preen, to commission artwork and ceremonies like royalty is still sacred, when in reality it's crumbling under the weight of its own irrelevance. Some people use their privilege to protect others. Others use it to protect their image. Meghan represents a modern kind of leadership, one rooted in compassion, courage, and actual work. Charles and Camilla represent something else, the preservation of power, at all costs. So the question isn't just about who wears the crown, it's about who earns the respect, who shows up without needing a spotlight, who gives without needing applause. And time and again, Meghan Markle has proven she doesn't need a portrait. Her actions speak louder than any painting ever could. And Charles and Camilla? They've proven the opposite, over and over again. We need leaders like Meghan and Harry.